What has long been called the Rocky Mountain Showdown, the rivalry between the University of Colorado Buffaloes and the Colorado State University Rams. The Buffs and the Rams are going to face off in Boulder come Saturday, but the system leaders are also finding a lot of space for common ground. Joining me now are the presidents and chancellor of the two university systems, CU President Todd Salomon and CSU Chancellor Dr. Tony Frank. It's great to have you both with us. Thank you both for your time.
Thanks for having us.
We know you're busy, so we appreciate it both. We're going to get to the friendly rivalry soon, but first I'd like to focus on the common challenges that your universities are facing. The first question that we were thinking about and we wanted to ask both of you about is, the Colorado Department of Higher Education reported that colleges outside of Colorado are increasingly recruiting our state's kids, our graduates. 29% of high school graduates enrolled in a college or university in another state, a 4% increase and the highest rate ever that we've learned. So what are the two of you doing to address these enrollment issues of our kids going to other schools? Dr. Frank, we'll start with you.
Sure. I think both of us have long been committed in our enrollment approaches to Colorado. Clearly, there are some things we need to be working on and doing differently. Our Spur campus out at the redevelopment of the National Western Center is designed to inspire kids and get them to go to college somewhere. And hopefully as they discover where their passions are, whether that is going to one of the CU campuses or one of the CSU campuses or somewhere else within our state, we want kids to know there's a great, affordable pathway to education within Colorado for everyone.
President Salomon, what are your thoughts on that?
So we want Colorado kids to stay in Colorado. We, of course, I want them to come to CU, of course, but it's great if they go to CSU, if they go to any other institution in the state, that's wonderful. But we want them to stay here. And like Tony said, we're all working hard to make college in Colorado affordable, and we're all working together to make that happen. We have great programs where you can transfer credits from community colleges to a four-year institution to make college cheaper, to make sure you can get that degree more quickly. But we're also working really hard to try to ensure that we're creating an environment on our campuses, a culture on our campuses where everybody feels like they belong, like they feel like they'll have a place right here at CU.
Speaking of affordability, that actually leads us into our next question. We were just looking at some recent data that came out. The Education Data Initiative finds that college in Colorado costs 4.5% more than the national average cost of attendance at a public four-year institution. And of course, of talking about affordability, what else are things that you're looking at to try to make it something that kids can actually reach for and attain?
There are a lot of ways to calculate the cost of a college education, right? And part of that is whether or not one factors in living expenses. Cost of living within the communities of Fort Collins and Boulder certainly influences a part of that issue as well. But overall, I think the main point we would like people to take away is that the cost of a college education is really not what people think it is. Our joint polling shows that people in Colorado think a college education costs over twice what it does. They believe debt levels are over 4 times what they actually are. At the end of the day, a college education is still got a great return on investment. It's still one of the best investments you can make in yourself and your family, and we're really proud of the product that we put on the table at, we think, a very affordable price.
We hear so much, of course, about the pursuit of equity, and yet for students of color and those who come from lower income families, it's still really hard for them to get into colleges and to afford colleges. Our attendance rates continue to be lower than that of other students. So how are both of you addressing this? And we'll start with you.
That's a huge issue for all of us. So at CU, we are committed to reflecting the diversity of Colorado with our students, our faculty, and our staff. And frankly, we don't, with one exception, that's CU Denver. CU Denver is a pretty diverse campus when it comes to our student body. But we're working very, very hard to try to make our campuses places where people want to be. So we, of course, need to go out and recruit students from throughout our state that reflect the diversity of Colorado. But we also have to create a place where they want to be. And so we're taking real steps on each of our campuses to create that culture so that we have a place where people want to be.
Dr. Frank?
Very similar in that we both serve the state of Colorado, right? So if we're not reflecting the demographics of Colorado, then we're failing, and we've got room to improve. CSU Pueblo is a Hispanic serving institution, close to being a minority serving institution. We're proud of what they do, but we need to do more at our other campuses. CSU Global Campus, CSU Fort Collins, we're making strides there and I think Todd used the phrase perfectly earlier, everybody needs to feel welcome on our campuses. They need to feel that there is a place for them regardless of their background or so many other things about them.
Well, we know that the U.S. Supreme Court overturned affirmative action this summer. So what do you see as the impact of this looking down the road, 5 to 10 years? And do you feel like there will be a big impact of this decision?
Yeah, so I'm so glad you asked that question. So the Supreme Court decision will have no impact on undergraduate admissions at the University of Colorado. We never did race-conscious decisions for undergraduate education. And it also does not prohibit us from doing any of the things we're already doing that I just described to make the university a more welcoming place from people from every community in Colorado. So we're continuing to do our programs, we're continuing to do our outreach, and we're continuing to admit students like we always had. So my one message for folks is to apply. We want you to stay in Colorado, and we want you at CU.
Oh, fabulous.
Exactly the same, and Todd hit on the key point there. Although it doesn't change anything for the way we're doing things, we worry about the inadvertent message that gets sent. We worry about someone who doesn't understand that things haven't changed and there is a place for them, a very welcoming environment that really wants them. We worry about them hearing the message and saying, well, am I really welcome at this place? And that's a message we want to cut through and dispel any way we can.
Fabulous. There is a medical school in Fort Collins. Both of you operate together, so let's talk a little bit about that.
There are a lot of things that we collaborate on. In fact, other than this occasional game here and there, we collaborate on everything from lasers to medicine. We have, as long as I've been around the institutions, the two universities just really click. They complement each other well, and I think the medical school is a perfect example of that. It combines some of the infectious disease research that we've done on the Fort Collins campus and our veterinary medical program with CU's world-class medical school and medical education, and I think it opens up a medical education to a new slice of the population.
And that kind of collaboration is what it's all about. And so Tony called up Don Elliman, the chancellor of CU Anschutz, and said, hey, let's try to put something together here. And we did, and it's going to serve the people of Colorado better. And that's what we do every day. We're going to have this great game on Saturday, and we'll have fun, and we'll cheer for our teams. But every other day and every other moment, we're working to try to find ways to work together.
Yeah, that moves us into our next question. You guys are just on par here. Here we go. Well, now we want to, of course, talk about athletics, and often viewed as a front porch of a university. So with everything that's going on and with the big rivalry game coming up, how important do you think it is to have a strong athletic department? Oh,
it's incredibly important. So when athletics is going well, it elevates the entire university. It raises the profile, it raises the vibe. I mean, we were just talking a little while ago, last weekend when Nebraska rolled into town, the vibe at CU Boulder was amazing. And it's just incredible how it lifts the entire place. And it doesn't just lift the CU Boulder, it lifts the entire CU system. And honestly, I think it lifts all of higher education in Colorado. And it makes people excited. And if that makes people more interested in staying in Colorado and going to a Colorado institution of higher education, that's great.
And let's talk about that, because so often people think it's just money into whatever program is being highlighted, right? But that's inaccurate. The money actually comes into the entire university and is able to be spread around.
Yeah, I think both of us could tell stories of donors that originally were contacted because of a potential connection with athletics, and it turned out that their passion was somewhere else within the institution, and they wound up giving, naming, for example, our alumni center and various other programs. We've had donors who came in through that door of athletics. I think we also can't lose track of the fact of the number of students that athletics opens the door to education for. That opportunity for a world-class college degree is something that really I don't think we should minimize or ever lose track of in these conversations.
Well, let's talk about the big game. How do you both feel about it? And let's just have some fun with the rivalry. What are your thoughts, and how do you feel about it, and how important do you think it is for the kids?
Oh, that's fun.
I know it's a lot of questions thrown at you, so answer whichever ones you want.
Well, I think the turnaround that CU has accomplished in their football program is absolutely remarkable. And trust me, as a lifelong Chicago Cubs fan, I have seen a lot of botched turnarounds. It's amazing what CU has done in this situation. Still, we'll go out and play the game. There's something about a rivalry game that's always a little different. Emotions are a little higher with the national television audience. I'm sure everybody will bring their very best to the game, and we'll hope it's a really good game and a good contest.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. We love this game. We love playing each other.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of fun. And it does. It gets everybody all pumped up, and it gets them excited, and we love it. But it does. It brings us energy to our schools. It brings energy to the state, and we love that, and we want to capitalize on that and show people all over the country that Colorado is an amazing choice for higher education, that we come to CSU or CU or another institution in Colorado, but CSU or CU are our first two choices. And but this is a place to be, and we want, and if you live here, stay here, go to college here. We want you.
Yeah, reach out to you both. All right.
And the other athletic rivalries that are part of this, the same atmosphere's there. A basketball game, a volleyball game. There's just something about that connection and that rivalry game that makes it feel different.
Yeah, it does. It's fun.
Yeah, and it goes on in our newsroom too. We're like divided in there. We got all kinds of Bobs, we got all kinds of Rams in there.
Exactly.
Well, thank you both for being with us so much. It's such a fun week, and we appreciate your insight into how you're progressing your schools and what the future looks like for the students and young people here. Thank you so much. All the best to both of your institutions, and of course, go Rams, go Buffs. We're very excited for this weekend.